Hello, my powerful posse, and welcome back to Purple RX. I'm Renata, your friendly and resourceful PharmD, here to help you navigate this health and wellness world to find out what works for you, how your body's going to work best, and get you all the information just to find out where you need to go and how you navigate this. And know, again, what works for you, because not everything is for everybody and everybody is not for everything. So just because a doctor says this works for so many people does not mean it's going to work for you, or does not mean it's effective for you. So I'm here to help give you the knowledge and understanding of your own body so that you can do those things and you can be a part of the actual journey, navigation, however you want to do, or adventure of finding out what works best for you, because it's an adventure. Because sometimes you'll be like, nothing works for me, and then you'll click and find that one thing. And it takes research, it takes time, and it takes effort and understanding of your own body. So today is Mineral Mondays. I know, guys, I need to get my Sundays together in order to get my Mondays better together. I'm working on it. I'm always working on it. That is just me. I will be working on it till the day I die. Well, working on getting better, but not on this Monday stuff. I'm gonna get it down packed. So you know today is Mineral Mondays, and we're talking about magnesium. So we talked about electrolytes, and electrolytes are important because those are minerals that are needed for electrical conductions within our body. So that means heartbeat, muscles, all of those things. That's why when we're working out, they're like, here, take electrolytes, because a lot of people get them replenished when they're sweating. When they're sweating, when they're working out, when they're using the restroom, those get depleted often and so easily. So our last electrolyte, one of our last electrolytes, is going to be magnesium. People sleep on minerals, period. They sleep on magnesium, on minerals, on all of those things that are important for just about everything in your body. So magnesium is an electrolyte that is a part of many functions, like I said, including helping with muscle and nerve function, regulating blood pressure, normal heart rhythm, blood sugar control, and also supporting those immune functions. It's also a cofactor in over 300 enzyme reactions within the human body. So that includes like protein synthesis, DNA and RNA synthesis. Those things are very important to keep your body renewing its skin, renewing its hair, keeping it healthy, keeping you up to par and at its best. So magnesium is not just important as an electrolyte, it's an important mineral that is needed for other enzyme functions within the body. So an adult body has about 25 grams of magnesium. So, and how it's stored, 50 to 60% is stored in our skeletal system, so in your bones. So in bone health, it's very much a part of bone health, as well as the rest can be present in your muscles and soft tissues, and about less than 1% is in our bloodstream. So our normal serum concentration within the body or within the blood is going to be like 0.75 to 0.95 millimoles per liter. It's not like I need you to remember that. You don't have to remember that, but it's just something to think about and hold within your brain. So balance, how do we balance the magnesium within our body? A lot of times, a lot of these minerals and things are balanced through our kidney and through the system of that. And our kidney helps to control it usually through urine output. Like I said, potassium, if it's too much, it's going to get it out. Phosphate, too much, it's going to get it out. Magnesium, if you have too much magnesium, it's going to get it out. And that is a part of the kidney system to filtrate out, what do I need, what do I not need. It's basically your organizing, cleansing system. So it is also one of the 7 macro minerals. So macro means it's needed, a large amount is needed in order for the body to do its daily function and be at its best. So at least 100 milligrams daily is needed in order to do the daily vital functions that it needs to prevent and treat diseases such as Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and also migraines, because it's also in that synapse where you have a lot of migraines. Sorry, there's something in my eye. You have when it comes to with migraines situations, because of how migraines come about and the neurotransmitters needed and the conduction needed and restriction that go on during migraines. So like I said, let's get into benefits. Bone health. Like I said, if it's needed in all those things, it's needed to help with your bones. So So in 2013, research linked that an adequate amount of magnesium intake was comparable with higher bone density. So the higher the bone density, that meant that those people, a lot of those people, most, maybe not all, had an adequate amount of magnesium intake. It was a part of their bone density being at its best. And it helps to improve bone crystal formation and decrease risk of osteoporosis, especially in menopausal females or females that have been through menopause. So it helps also regulate, it also helps directly and indirectly in bone health by helping to regulate the calcium and vitamin D levels. And those are important in the synthesis of new bones, new bone growth, all of those things needed. So also another benefit is within diabetes. It helps to play a major role in glucose control and insulin metabolism. So it helps with magnesium, diets high in magnesium have been shown to help decrease the effects of type 2 diabetes or decrease the chances or risks of having type 2 diabetes. And magnesium deficiency can actually worsen insulin resistance and vice versa. So insulin resistance can be attributed or not be attributed, wrong word, can help, not help, and vice versa. So insulin resistance can also be a part of magnesium deficiency or help be attributable to magnesium deficiency. So, like I said, magnesium is also a part of helping with your heart and those muscle functions and normal heart rhythm. So, magnesium deficiency is increased in persons with risk of heart problems. It's going to, I cannot get my words together. And magnesium deficiency increases a person's risks of heart problems. So heart failure, arrhythmias, those things, cardiovascular disease, those things for somebody who is not taking in enough magnesium can have issues such as those. So deficiency of magnesium is common in people with congestive heart failure, and it can worsen clinical outcomes. Some doctors have given those things in congestive heart failure to decrease arrhythmias and any other issues that can go along with congestive heart failure. And magnesium, a lot of times, some hospitals, some doctors may soon give bouts of magnesium after somebody's had a heart attack in order to decrease the risk of death, because it's going to decrease the overall outcome. Because a lot of people don't automatically die after a heart attack, but their heart becomes weaker, or they're at risk for another heart attack because they're not taking care of their diet and eating the things that they need. So that is going to help decrease the risk of death in dying immediately after a heart attack, or prolonging life. So magnesium is also beneficial in migraines. So headaches, migraines, because it prevents or it relieves the headache. It affects the neurotransmitters, and it restricts the blood vessel constriction. So there's going to be less blood vessel constriction, which is a lot of times what is causing those migraines. The American Migraine Foundation found that 400 to 500 milligrams per day of magnesium helped with migraine prevention. So I'm not telling you to, if you got migraines, jump on a magnesium kick. Check with your doctor, because you may be past that at this point. Check with your healthcare professional who you go to deal with your migraines, and who you go to help you out, whether it's your primary care physician or your specialist. Ask them about it. Ask them to see, hey, can I start increasing magnesium, or put magnesium and take magnesium supplements, or this or that, and see how, can we see how this is going to benefit me, or if this will lessen my need to actually taking prescription medications. Because a lot of times those prescription medications can only be taken every 48 hours. So every 2 days, it can only be taken in maybe like 2 to 3 times a week. And some people have really bad migraines, and that may be beneficial, but still talk to your healthcare provider before you change anything within your diet or with anything within your supplementation as well. And also, magnesium helps within PMS. One of my healthcare providers, when I talked to, and he was telling me, you're probably a little bit low on magnesium due to certain things around my hairline, as well as the bad cramps and period and issues that I was having. So it helps within PMS. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists suggest that a magnesium supplement can reduce bloating, mood symptoms, and also breast tenderness. It can help within those premenstrual symptoms. So now, those are places in which magnesium is beneficial. Those are places in which we need magnesium. And if without magnesium, again, there's so many other places in which magnesium deficiency or not having enough magnesium or having too much magnesium can affect us. So what do we do if in magnesium deficiency, or what does it look like? And magnesium deficiency most of the time usually comes in not just automatically. It could come in due to low intake, us not getting enough within the food we eat, us not eating the proper foods that we need to in order to get that magnesium, or health conditions. And a lot of times you'll see these in other communities and in our communities. You see these because what we're given access to and the things that we're given is not something that is going to be beneficial for us. And a lot of times we're, like I said, if you looked at one of my previous videos, and I'll probably link it up here, I forgot which video it was, about how we're intaking and what we're eating and what we have access to and how we have access to healthy foods that actually have these minerals and actually have the vitamins that we need. Because a lot of those packaged and processed foods are not going to have it. If they are, they're going to be fortified with it. And I would rather have natural than lab grown. I would rather have something naturally occurring, because then there's a little something different in the naturally occurring in what God made than what we make. Because we can take out some forms, even though it looks exactly like, because we've broken it down to the chemical, it's not always exactly alike. There's just something different about it. Maybe it's the combination of the minerals together is what makes it different. Okay, so earliest signs of somebody having a magnesium deficiency, like I said, which is due to a health condition or intake. So that can be loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, fatigue, you get weakness. If it worsens, you're going to start getting numbness and tingling, muscle cramps. You can also get I cannot speak today. You can also get seizures, personality changes, abnormal heart rhythm. I just cannot talk right now getting this stuff out of it. Coronary spasms. And it can also help to result with a low calcium and potassium absorptions. So that's sometimes why us just taking supplements alone, magnesium, this, is not enough, because we may be also deficient in the calcium and in potassium. So that's why I say natural forms are better, because natural forms don't just come with magnesium. This is all magnesium. Most of these foods that I'm going to talk about that have magnesium also have calcium, have potassium, have sodium in it, have all those elements that we need together. And it works synergistically, which means basically all those work in combination to be helpful to our body and for our body to work at its best. So a lot of times these people who have magnesium deficiency, it's usually because of GI issues. Crohn's disease where it comes with chronic diarrhea or fat malabsorption. They're not absorbing fat right or enough fat. Celiac disease, or I'm not saying people on a gluten-free diet, because some people choose to be on a gluten-free diet, but there's actually people that have celiac disease and have that one part where they can't really have gluten. They start nausea, vomiting, throwing up. Also if somebody gets in a resection or a bypass of their small intestines, those can cause a malabsorption of magnesium, or where they won't have enough magnesium being absorbed or intaken. In type 2 diabetes, like I said, I think I said this before, in type 2 diabetes, it's usually secondary to high concentrations of glucose in the kidney, which also increases the urine output, which is going to increase the urine output of magnesium. So our body is working together with all of these minerals, all of these vitamins, in order to do what it needs to be at its best. Our body is a machine in of itself. People in alcohol dependence, because with alcohol dependence, you have GI problems. Some people start having renal dysfunction, vitamin D deficiency, and a phosphate depletion because they're on alcohol, and also secondary to liver disease. So a lot of these secondary to these diseases, you'll see a depletion of magnesium because you're not getting the best absorption with alcohol dependence because your body is working to get rid of that alcohol and deal with that. So it's like, I don't have time for these minerals. I don't have time for this. This seems like a toxin, or this is too much of a toxin. Let me move it out. That's why I suggest, if you're going to get something, if you're going to, not alcohol dependence, but if you're going to drink, I suggest before you wake up the next day, hydrate with coconut water. Hydrate with maybe even an electrolyte powder or something like that, because that will help bring your body back in balance. Because when you wake up with a hangover and a headache, it's because your body is dry, depleted, and trying to come back into balance, and it don't have time to deal with all that up there. That's really how it comes down to it. Also, you'll see it more magnesium depletion in older patients as your body ages and as things come about. You a lot of times eat less, so you have a diet lower in magnesium. Your gut absorption of magnesium is decreased, as well as your kidney excretion is increased because it's with age and with also with medication. And a lot of older people within our population now are taking an exuberant amount of meds. Trust, I worked in long-term care. I worked in hospice for years, and all I saw was patients taking 20 to 30 meds, then 15 supplements. Like that was going to fix what their body was getting depleted of, what their body didn't have enough of. And there was a lot of people just being over medicated. And for our generation, that is not something I want. I want something for us to see, to have a balance in between this. Don't get me wrong. It's not an all or nothing, not all medication or all this. Like I said, I'm in the position where medication has saved my life. Medication has me here right now to speak to you guys. And it is what is keeping me alive. But medication is not the end all be all. It's not for everybody. And it should not always be what we count on because it's easy, efficient, or somebody says that we have to have that. A lot of times we just need to change what we're intaking, how we're intaking it, and our food industry has to change. But we're in a capitalistic society, so we have to change it by the way we think, the way we eat, the way we purchase. Our purchasing power is what we have power over here, because we're the consumers, so we can change it. Anyway, that's a rant. That's a little tangent I went off. Side note. So how do we get magnesium? Well, where can we get magnesium from? A lot of it comes from food. So foods that are high in magnesium: roasted pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, almonds, cooked spinach, cashews. And again, you got to remember, these foods that I'm talking about, they not only have magnesium, they have potassium, they have sodium, they have some of the phosphate that you need, they have protein in it that you need, they have a lot of what you need in it. So they're not just, when you eat these foods, it's not just, okay, this is a one time, this is just it's only going to give me magnesium. No, it's going to give you so much more that your body is asking for and your body is needing. So also soy milk, shredded wheat. It's been fortified in cereals like shredded wheat. And actually, it's naturally in whole grains. And when I say whole grains, I don't mean the wheat that's shaved off. I mean true whole grains. So true whole grains, you will find enough magnesium in it. Oatmeal, black beans, edamame. Don't hate on edamame. It is natural soy, but edamame is actually a better form and a more natural form of soy. Peanut butter, potatoes with the skin. So if you're going to make potatoes, scrub that skin off. Maybe put a little salt on it. Put it in the oven for a baked potato if you want it that way, just so that it can be absorbed, poke some holes in it. You don't even have to put a foil around it. That's the best baked potato. I'm so serious. But anyway, I don't really eat baked potatoes, but I ate it once and I was like, whoa, this is good. But if you're going to eat the skin, scrub your skin. Wash your skin off, scrub it, soak it, however you'd like to do it. Cooked brown rice, kidney beans, halibut, lean beef, chicken breast, broccoli, and I am not here to promote any diets to tell you, don't eat this, do eat that, do eat this. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes we may not need a lot of this. We may need to reduce our carbs because we've eaten so many, so we may need to reduce our carbs to get our body weight back into a better balance, and then we can go ahead and do some things. But you could also do without it. But I am not here to talk about restrictive diets or anything like that. It's here to find out what works for you and what is best for you. And I really want you to look at these foods. And vegan, vegetarian, you need to find vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, paleo, keto, whatever you do, flex all day. I don't, but make sure you look at what you're eating. Reduce the process, increase the fresh vegetables, increase the fresh amount of lean meats that you have, and knowing where your meat is coming from. Maybe finding a butcher, maybe finding a pasture raised like farm or something like that. There's a couple around here in Texas. I think there's Cox Farms up in McKinney. I'll put a links in between them. There's also, if you're wanting to find lean meats or you're saying our meat is bad, Cox Farms up in McKinney. Also, there's this place that I've been dealing with for years, Burgundy. Pasture raised beef, pasture raised chicken, lamb, and how they clean it and take care of it is actually a very good. You can taste the difference, you can see the difference, you know the difference. So, sorry, another tangent. But anyway, we're going to keep going. So what's the daily value or the daily amounts that adults or children above 4 years older should take? So maybe 420 milligrams of magnesium daily. But the thing about it is the FDA is not going to require somebody to put how much magnesium they have on their food label, on their nutrition label. Ain't that a mess? So the thing is, we have to make sure we're intaking enough vegetables and things that we have and being consistent within our diets in order to get what is needed. Consistency is hard. So if you have no access, or even if it's not even that you don't even have access, sometimes there are supplements that people have taken, supplements that people get or are suggested by doctors or other people, is where you can, if you have a magnesium deficiency, where you probably will get the magnesium. And I've seen this a lot in the older population. There was a lot of supplements giving out magnesium in some way or another that were given out to our older patients, in addition to all the other meds that they had. So supplements, usually the supplements, there are so many forms of magnesium. It can be gluconate, oxide, it can be spartate. There's so many forms. So the supplements, the absorption varies between the forms. And like I said, the forms are like oxide, citrate, chloride, all of those forms, like if you go on the shelf, you're going to see 20,000 forms of magnesia. A lot of times you'll even see, like, some people get their magnesia through milk of magnesia because they may be having constipation problems or other problems. So sometimes you'll see those forms in milk of magnesia, those liquids. You'll see magnesium in Tums, Rolaids. Those are going to be lesser amount, but you get into magnesium oxide and I think it's magnesium oxide a lot of times when you're getting into Phillips colon milk of magnesia period. So there's also forms, the forms that dissolve well in liquid are going to be better absorbed in your stomach, that studies have found. And studies have found that the aspartate form, the citrate form, the lactate form, and the chloride form absorb more completely, and they're more bioavailable, which means you get more absorbed that your body can use than the oxides or the sulfate. So what can inhibit? Sometimes there's things like if you're taking zinc supplements or increased zinc supplements, probably like 120 milligrams or more, that can interrupt the absorption of magnesium. So there's so many things that can go on or that can hinder, that can help. This is a lot of information, and it's going to be a lot of information. But my best bet to tell you is it's all about what you eat, and it's all about what you're intaking. A lot of these other supplements and forms, you won't need them unless your body there's a disease or a health condition that is going to bring that up. Or you're having some kind of immune function where you may need some magnesium, and you'll find some capsules or something. And magnesium is probably best taken at night. And it gives it time. It's better for the absorption, but it is suggested to be taking magnesium at night before you sleep because it can also make you a little bit tired. So when you're taking supplements, magnesium can also interact with some meds. So you're going to have to look at some things. If you're taking a magnesium supplement or you have constipation, and you want to choose something like milk and magnesia, Rolaids, Tums, you have nausea, some of those things where maybe not our generation. Well, maybe our generation does take it, but my grandfather, he drank milk and magnesia like water sometimes. So if you're taking milk and magnesia, what are medicines that can interact with that? Medicines that you might have to not be able to take it or hold it for a little while, hold it for a certain time. One of those is bisphosphonates. This is mainly going to be for women of ages 65 over, 70 over mainly, because this is when women come in contact or are having osteoporosis or bone reabsorption issues. So that's when Fosamax, Residronate, Alendronate, all of those come into play. So if you're in an older population and you're taking those medications, you should always separate them from magnesium supplements by 2 hours, whether it's supplements, whether it's meds, however they're taken. You want to give that a 2-hour separation because the magnesium, it can probably either deplete it or the magnesium may not be able to get absorbed properly due to the medication. It can stop either or. Also antibiotics, and some antibiotics shouldn't be taken with calcium, shouldn't be taken with magnesium because either it breaks the antibiotic down and doesn't allow it to work at its best, or it just basically takes away like I said, it doesn't allow it to work its best. So a lot of times they're going to be tetracycline. So things like doxycycline, minocycline, dimclocycline, never say that, dimclocycline, or quinolones like ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin, moxifloxacin. Those drugs should not be taken at the same time as magnesium. So either you want to take your antibiotics 2 hours before those magnesium supplements, or you want to take your antibiotics 4 to 6 hours after magnesium supplements. And sometimes you may be able to quit that supplement if you're not really in need of those magnesium supplements. Maybe just eating the food might be your best bet, and upping your magnesium within food might be your best bet. But some people do need those magnesium supplements because, again, a lot of times they are in constipation or in stomach and stomach issues. Also, a lot of these ones that you're going to get, antibiotics, diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, you'll see a lot more in the older population because they're wanting to rely on those. Our population has gotten into a lot of them, but not as much. Bisphosphonates is those for women of age 70 and over. Next, you'll also see in diuretics where there's going to be a issue in magnesium and taking magnesium supplements. So diuretics such as loop diuretics like Lasix, Bumex, thiazide diuretics, hydrochlorothiazide, those are going to excrete even more of your magnesium. So your supplements will mean nothing because you'll be taking them and they'll be excreting them and excreting them and excreting them. So you won't, and your magnesium could actually go low within your own body, even if you're not taking supplements because you're taking these diuretics. So you want to make sure to get some within your diet and get some more if your doctor says you need supplementation. I'm not telling you to just go get a magnesium supplement. Talk to your healthcare professional. If you have any questions, I'm here down below to answer any questions. Now, also chronic treatment. And it's mainly with chronic treatment of these. The only ones that probably won't spare it is potassium sparing diuretics usually do not excrete so much magnesium. You'll usually excrete it on a regular basis, but you want to watch out with your magnesium supplements because you may keep too much or you may not even need it at that point if you have to take a potassium sparing diuretic. And one of the other ones that's going to interact with magnesium supplements and medicines, proton pump inhibitors. So your proton pump inhibitors are Nexium, your purple pill, Prevacid. Those medications and long-term use of them can cause a decreased or hypomagnesemia, which is basically your magnesium is not going to get highly absorbed because it's decreasing that acid production within your stomach, and it's going to decrease it for a long-term use. Most of the time, if you're using anything like Prevacid or Nexium, if you're using any of those medications, you really want to use them on a 2-week basis. If it's longer than that, that should be from your doctor telling you that. If you're using it on a long-term basis, there's something in your diet that you need to change, or you need to go see somebody. You need to go see your healthcare professional to see what's really going on and to see what other ways and other meds or other options that you have to work whatever that is going on out. So what happens if you have too much magnesium in your system? A lot of times, too much magnesium in your system is due to people overdoing it. Like I said, drinking too much milk of magnesia, taking too much of the Rolaids and the Tums, and trying to take all those because those have a lot of magnesium oxide in it and also magnesium carbonate in it. And within those having all of that in it, that is going to give you so much magnesium on a daily basis. And excessive magnesium is usually going to be like if you're taking 5,000 milligrams of magnesium daily, or your serum concentration, which again, you'd have to have a doctor look at, and they would have to look it through your blood system, and they're usually not, or your urine output. A serum concentration would be 1.74 to 2.61 millimoles per liter. You just really want to stay into and keep your recommended daily allowance low. So a recommended daily allowance is when they say RDA on those labels, it's usually the average level intake sufficient to meet the body's nutritional requirements. That is just an guesstimate of what we see, of where we've seen most people be efficient and be healthy at that level. And a lot of people, there's a lot of recommended daily allowance. You're like, what is this RDA? Well, I'll also put below a link of showing you the recommended daily allowance for magnesium. If you're going to take magnesium supplements, what should it look like? How much should I take? Where should it go? And like I said, if you're going to take magnesium supplements, it is better to take them at night because that's when they work best, as well as they're going to kind of calm you down, put you to sleep, and relax you in a lot of ways. Not only, I also forgot to add that other forms of magnesium, now you'll see, because our population is so depleted in magnesium, you'll see magnesium flakes where you can take a bath in it because that's also going to help with your muscles and help in healing those muscles and any other muscles in your body. So think about it. Your skin is your largest organ. So right under your skin, there is a blood and lymphatic stream that is going to go up into the skin. So you will feel, so those things will eventually get into your blood system, depending on how long you use them. Whether you use a magnesium spray when you get out of the shower, sometimes that's what I use. I started using a magnesium spray along with my coconut oil. I have coconut oil and mix a little magnesium spray and put those together and actually rub that on my body on a daily basis when I take a shower. It actually calms my skin. It allows me to go to sleep because I noticed I was talking to one of my healthcare professionals and my magnesium was low, and that was part of one of the things where I was not able to go fall asleep well. And so those things were things that I added into my daily routine. And also a lot of meds and things that I take just allow my system to not absorb some things in some way, because my medication is it's kind of taking up all the action, if you want to say. So in magnesium toxicity, let's get back to that. A lot of times it's going to be, you're not really going to get a toxicity if your kidneys are working well and excreting it well. Because like I said, your kidneys are going to excrete on a regular basis 120 milligrams. Now, your kidneys will up and do more work if it sees more. If it's seeing more, it's going to make you urinate like more, because it's like, this is too much, we need to get it out. So, and it's not going to be that common. You're not going to see it where they were like, oh, he died from hypomagnesemia, or he had a hypomagnesemia issue. You're not going to hear that much, and you're not going to see it that much because your body has a natural regulatory system. But it is only when we get it out of balance and we're doing too much that our body may not be able to do the work. And our body may not be able to do the work due to maybe having a kidney situation can allow you to get that. Or taking too much in, a lot of times. Taking too much into these supplements. Like I said, milk and magnesia, taking Tums, taking all of these sources, and then your body not being able to keep up with the work that you're doing kind of against it. So high doses, like I said, usually come from dietary supplements and medications that interact with it and may keep more magnesium within your body. And that can result in things like diarrhea, nausea, abdominal cramping, which could look like anything else out there. So it's not like you're going to be like, I know that I have low magnesium. You're not going to know. So forms that are more commonly reported to like cause the diarrhea, they include like the magnesium carbonate, which you'll see in milk with magnesia, and what is the other one? Mylanta, all of those. Magnesium chloride, magnesium gluconate, or magnesium oxide. Those are the most common forms. You'll see magnesium oxide in a lot of those pills, over-the-counter supplements that they give when somebody's constipated. They're ready to give them magnesium oxide. So toxicity symptoms look like hypotension, which is low blood pressure, nausea and vomiting, facial flushing, retention of urine. So you're holding on to your urine, your body's holding on to your urine. Ileus, and ileus is where it's a disruption of the small intestines, and it's where your small intestines, the propulsive ability, which is like this natural muscle ability, is not working at its best, because either something is blocking it or the actual smooth muscle tissue is not really contracting naturally like it should, the involuntary contractions, which is going to be needed because of which could be because too much magnesium is blocking it and not allowing it to work. There's sometimes when your body, it's kind of like a lot of times when you get too little and too much of something, the results can look the same because you're getting not enough water. Your body can dehydrate and look a certain way, and you may not be able to, you are at its best, but if you get too much water, it can cause you to die. There needs to be a perfect balance. Just like if there's too much magnesium and too much going on, the smooth muscle contraction is not enough, so it doesn't work as well. So you also look at depression, lethargy, and that can all progress to things like muscle weakness, difficulty breathing, extreme hypotension, and which is extreme low blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, and cardiac arrest, which you got to remember, magnesium is in all of those situations that have gone on. It is a part of all of those things. Contractions of the smooth muscle, contractions of all your muscle, blood pressure, it helps to regulate blood pressure, heartbeat, it helps to regulate all of those, like I said before. So when your magnesium is too high or too low, it's going to affect those, maybe in different ways, but it's still going to affect those. And again, this can usually, and it's increased even more if you have an impaired renal function. So a lot of times in some older patients, you're going to see this, or people like me, or people that have an impaired renal function or have a kidney disease are going to experience this more, or they may come upon this more, especially if they're taking supplements in other ways. So this magnesium, I just wanted to point out that magnesium is an important mineral for our body. If we don't know, we won't grow. And I just want you to see that maybe there's some minerals that you're missing, or maybe there's some minerals you need to think about. What are you intaking? Are you eating enough? Are you eating the proper foods to get the nutrition you need? Because these minerals are needed for the conduction and the propulsion of our body, for our body to be highly functioning and at its best, for you to go out here and take care of your kids, do your job, spread love, spread whatever message or help or provide however you need to provide. Our bodies have to be at their best, and we have to give at our best, and we need to know, how do we take care of that? What is it looking like? What are things that are important to us, and why is that important to us? Because of these things. So, like I say, if we don't know, we don't grow, and not everything is for everybody. But I hope you see magnesium. Everybody has to have magnesium and what it looks like, but you may not need supplementation. You just may need to up it in your diet. So thank you guys for joining me again on this Mineral Monday. Next week, I'll figure out what we're doing next week, but I'm going to get it more together. And we're going to be back. Next one is going to be on Wednesday, which is Weed Wednesdays, we're going to talk about probably the best way to get CBD, CBG, marijuana, all of those, and get what your body needs, and the effects and how those things can, and how marijuana, the way we intake it, can really affect us and affect our body. Thank you guys. Oh, and I always forget this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. If you don't want to hear any notifications, that's fine. I understand. Also, if you have any questions, comments, if you want to talk about something that I'm not talking about, let's talk about it. I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to discuss it. I'm here to bring it out. Please put this out. I want everybody to really get to know their own bodies, really get to know who they are, really get to understand the importance of eating these healthy foods. And if yes, we take medication, but we should also be looking at what we're eating, what we're intaking on a daily basis. All right. Thank you guys.